All right, so chippo over here. I like this game. I like little chippo. Now, I'm gonna get some balls over here. All right, let's see. Make sure I gotta back this up a little bit. I don't want to hit the camera. Okay, so you're gonna see pretty easy here. I'm gonna go back and then forward. Notice, once again, we've talked about this before, I'm not making a huge motion with my wrist like this. It's more one big long motion. I'm going to set up, I'm going to go back, through. Daniel, I didn't put a hole in the wall, I promise. Oh, they roll back in. So this is a standard chip. So when you get out there and actually do some chipping, what I want you to do is start to experiment a little bit. So when I say experiment, I'm talking about, this is how my club normally sits on the ground. I'm going to open the club face. So now it's pointed more up. Or I'm going to lean the shaft more forward so there's less loft. And that's going to change how high or low I hit the ball. So if I set up normal, and you can see this is right in the middle of my legs, but what happens if I move it forward? What happened to the loft? Well, it increased the loft. If I move it back in my stance, now there's less loft because the shaft's going to be leaning forward more. So if I lean it forward, there's less loft. If I kind of lean it back, there's more loft, or it's right in the middle. So you have to play with ball positions and where you place the club and how you lean the shaft to hit different shots. And if you want to get really good at golf, you have to experiment as much as possible. Man, I'm good at that one where it comes back down the hill. So I'm actually, I like to read some golf books. And I'm currently reading a golf book. It's called The Thin Green Line. Kind of a weird name. Yes, I know. But the guy is somebody who wants to go play on the mini tours because he had one good round of golf in his life. So he wrote a book about his whole experience. And then he went down to Florida to Q School. And Q School used to be where people try to get on the PGA Tour and they get through first stage, second stage, and then the third stage is 6 rounds of golf. It's grueling. And this guy was down and he's interviewing people because he wants to find out, what it takes to make it. And he said the one thing that every single tour player said you have to be able to do is use your putter, and you got to be able to get a ball up and down. You've got to be able to chip, putt, and pitch. If you can chip, putt, and pitch, you have a chance. If you can't do any of those, you don't have a chance. So it's really important we work on this short game as much as possible. I know the glamour is always about hitting a long ball, hitting super far drives. Yeah, okay, it's fun to hit the ball a long way, but the real ability to shoot low scores comes from using the wedge and the putter. So we know we've talked about that before. All right, getting into stroke play versus match play.
Hey, Coach B.
Yeah?
My sister just left the meme because she got a really bad headache.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope she feels better. I didn't give her a headache, did I? Okay. Well, I hope she feels better. She can always go back, and this is true for everybody. If you missed one of the episodes, you can always go back to the First Tee's YouTube channel, First Tee of Charlotte's YouTube channel, and you can watch anything that we've covered. That way, if you missed something and maybe you had to get up in the middle of one of our classes and use the bathroom, get something to drink, whatever, if you missed something, you can always go back and rewatch it. So nothing to worry about there. Match play versus stroke play. Once we've talked about this, but we're going to go back to the rules of match play and stroke play. So you determine who's going to tee off first, and then you start playing the game. So whoever's farthest from the hole always goes first. Now, if somebody is not farthest from the hole and they go in front of the person who is farthest from the hole and they hole it out from 150 yards, they sink it in the hole for a 2. The person who was actually farthest away could make them replay the shot. That means that eagle didn't count. How about that? Now, that'd be kind of a crummy thing to do to somebody, but it's happened. So there was a Solheim Cup, which is like the Ryder Cup, but it's what the women play, and it's the U.S. team versus the European team or the rest of the world. So really, really big battle. It's coming down to the end. And a lady for the European tour or the other team, she chipped it in from off the green. And the U.S. player goes, I think I was away. And they measured it, and she was away. And the player had to replay the shot. Now, that made some pretty bad feelings between both teams there, but that's part of the rules. Got to understand the rules. And person jumped the gun. They jumped in front. They hit the shot. Didn't count. I'd be a little steamed, but I got to understand I have to respect the rules. We talked about respect earlier, and if I don't respect the rules, there's consequences, and that's a pretty bad consequence. And now the consequence was even more than that because now there's hard feelings between those two players. You know, is what it is. So as you're playing along, every hole's worth a point. So if I win the first hole, I'm 1 up. If I win the second hole, I'm 2 up. If I lose the third hole, I'm 1 up. So it kind of goes back and forth, and you're trying to get up as many as you can, and you want to be up more holes than there are holes left to play. That means you won. So here's a trivia question for you. You can unmute for this. What's the most that you could beat somebody in a match play 18-hole tournament? You're up more holes. What?
Depends on the par.
No, there's 18 holes, so you're up more holes than there are holes left to play.
You can beat them by 18 holes.
Well, think about it. So let's just say, how many nines are there in 18 holes?
2.
2. Okay. So if I win the first hole, I'm 1 up. I win the second hole, I'm 2 up. 3 up, 4 up, 5 up, 6 up, 7 up, 8 up. How many holes are left to go if I'm 8 up?
10.
Okay. If I win the next hole, I'm 9 up. How many holes are left to play?
9.
Okay. What if I lost the next 9?
Then it would be a tie.
It would be all square. So what's the most you can beat somebody?
9. 18.
No.
10 holes.
You have to be up more holes than there are holes left to play.
10.
So what? 10. What happens if I win the first 10 holes? Can they beat me?
No.
If I won the first 9, they can still tie me. But if I won that 10th hole, that means I won 10 and 8. That's 10 up with 8 holes left to play. They can't catch me. So that's the worst you could ever beat somebody. Can you imagine if we went out there and lost the first 10 holes and the match is over? So let's talk about breaking the rules and stuff in match play. Now, if you hit one out of bounds, that is pretty standard. You still have to go by the out of bounds rules, and you get penalized a stroke. Have to replay the shot from where you hit it. So if I hit my tee shot on the very first hole, that's 1. It went out of bounds. I have to go back to the tee box and re-tee. So that's the 2 because I got to take a penalty stroke. Now I'm hitting my 3rd shot. But let's say I break a rule out in the fairway. I accidentally hit the wrong ball. So if I make a mistake like that, I lose the hole. So I lost that point. So if that was the first hole, I'm 1 down because I made a mistake and the other person wins. In stroke play, when we're trying to add up all the strokes and whoever has the least amount wins, I get strokes added to my score in that situation. So if I'm playing stroke play and I hit the wrong ball, I have to correct the mistake, add a 2-shot penalty, and then play from there. You know, I get whatever score I get at that point. But in match play, I just lose the hole. So that's important that you understand these things. So on the test, if it says, you know, I did something wrong in match play and I was penalized strokes, typically that's going to be wrong. So you got to understand the difference there. But match play is very exciting. Hopefully they're going to play the Ryder Cup. I haven't heard if they've canceled that or not, but hopefully they're going to play the Ryder Cup this year. Super exciting. I really, really, really suggest you watch that. It is drama. It is the neatest and the most intense competition in golf. Hands down, it's crazy. And then there's the Ryder Cup, which is the oldest, but then that's America versus Europe. And then there's the President's Cup, which is America versus every other country that's not Europe. So it's the rest of the world, they say. And next year at Quail Hollow, they're going to have the President's Cup here in town. So you could actually go watch the President's Cup up close and personal and see super intense battles. That's going to be pretty cool. All right, so going back here, kind of circling back around, family is that healthy habit. Spending time with your family is important. Now, I know sometimes family, we can get on each other's nerves a little bit. My sister and I growing up used to fight like cats and dogs. We were oil and vinegar, oil and water, whatever you want to call it. But later on in life, we became much closer. And make sure you appreciate those relationships you have with your brothers and sisters. Now, brothers and sisters are usually completely different. They have differences of opinions. They try to be as different as possible, especially when there's age differences and stuff. But really, really enjoy the time you have with your family because, once you graduate college and stuff and you move away, you may not get to see them that much. And then you really start to understand that you miss them a little bit. So make sure you enjoy this time that you're spending with family. Do as many game days as you possibly can. Have fun. Do things. Watch movie. Make popcorn. Taught my son how to make homemade popcorn. So on the stove with the kernels instead of just throwing it in a bag in the microwave.
We're going to do that tonight.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think it tastes 1,000,000 times better. That's just my opinion.
We're just going to do the regular microwave, but we're going to do a movie and popcorn.
I suggest you try to do the kernels one time. Kind of good.
It sounds like a pretty fun idea to do.
It's cool.
But
When it starts,
Where would you
So,
put the kernels?
I have to be careful of the kernels, but I can have popcorn.
Hey, Coach
Well-
B, where would you find the kernels? Like which store?
they're at any grocery store. You can go into the popcorn section, and they'll just be like a plastic little thing container of the actual kernels. It's got directions on there. Have your parents help you. But it's kind of cool to do that, and then you can add whatever seasonings you want. And it says add oil in there. I throw some butter in there. When it pops, it gets a little butter in there, good flavor. Put a little bit of salt on there, and then I'm ready to watch me a movie. Good stuff.
Awesome.
Cool. Does anybody have any?
popcorn machine?
A popcorn machine?
Uh-huh.
That sounds cool. That sounds cool. Man.
You can get them at Target.
Huh?
Popcorn machines you can get at Target.
Mary said you get a popcorn machine at at Target. Okay. So anybody have any questions about it? I'm now getting shot with Nerf
No,
guns.
full. No, full.
Did you see that? Did you see what they just did?
That's funny. Why'd they do that?
They're gonna get it.
got-
They're gonna get it.
They came after him with Nerf guns.
I got the bullet in the ear. I tell you what. See what I have to deal with here? People shooting at me, trying to do class. I tell you, that wasn't very respectful, was it? Okay. Anybody have any questions about match play? Because I want to make sure everybody gets that. So we're going to ace these tests when we get to actually do that, and we're going to rock and roll and be ready to go.